This is going to be Jund League number 20, big number 20. So doing a few different things here, and I'm going to explain why I have chosen to do those few things. Still playing the 24th land. I'm not playing the Dark Confidant. Again, I think Dark Confidant has really fallen out of favor with all the higher end decks being able to put a lot of pressure on us quickly. Bob tends to be better when the mid-range decks don't put a lot of pressure on you. Like, Bob's pretty great versus the various Uro decks that don't pressure quickly, but is significantly worse versus the mid-range decks like Red-Green and Eldrazi Tron that can put the pressure on quite quickly. Also, there's been lots of prowess and just really a swelling in decks that play things like Lava Dart, which also make Bob a pretty big liability. Still playing the 2, Cling to Dust in the main. Still been very, very impressed with this card. It has won me a few games, pretty much on its own. This card kind of looks innocuous because while it doesn't win you the game, it prevents your opponent from winning the game from casting something like an arrow out of their yard, or maybe either you're playing in Storm when you want to nail a Past in Flames, stuff like that. So it does a lot of really good stuff at 1 mana, and if you target a non-creature spell, you even get to draw a card. Late game as well against the mid-range decks. You can also just escape 5 and cast it again to generate a card for what is essentially not a card. I have increased to 3 Fatal Pushes and reduced to 1 Lightning Bolt. This is mainly a consideration that there's been a lot of prowess going around, and the blue-red prowess decks have been trying to power out Stormwing Entity, and in doing so, they have started playing things like Mutagenic Growth and Gutshot. And Lightning Bolt doesn't really kill any of their creatures if they've got the Mutagenic Growth, because let's say they're targeting a 1-2 with Mutagenic Growth, it'll be a 2-3 with Prowess, and then a 4-5 with the Growth resolving. So Bolt won't actually kill one of those creatures unless you're willing to 2-for-1 and even have the second spell to finish it off. So Fatal Push is rising in its ranks there. Furthermore, the best deck right now appears to be some version of Temur or Bant Uro. And Fatal Push, while you still are getting 2-for-1 by the Uro entering the battlefield, the push actually is able to kill the Uro single-handedly if you can enable Revolt, which isn't really that hard. Whereas Bolt doesn't. You would need 2 bolts to get rid of an Uro. Other than that, the main deck is pretty much the same as it's been. I've gone up to second Terminate because Eldrazi Tron is still a really big thing, and I would love to be able to beat it. Additionally, things like Red-Green Midrange love to play things like Greater Gargaroth and Stormbreath Dragon, and Terminate deals with both of those, whereas things like Abrupt Decay don't. Still playing my 1 Maelstrom Pulse as my less mana efficient catch-all, 2 Golgon's commands to hopefully get some blowout 2-for-1s, and then Bloodbraid still as the best curve topper that Jund has available to it. In this sideboard, I am going to be playing 2 Boils. I wouldn't say this card is experimental. It's pretty well established that it's effective. I haven't done it lately because I haven't really seen a whole lot of stuff other than Uro that I'd want to bring it in against. That said, Uro is extremely popular right now, and Blue-White Stoneblade is also in the top 5 still, I believe. We're going to take a look at that pretty soon. So it's going to be good there too. So I think Boyle is probably a pretty okay choice right now. Still playing the 1 Klothys, 2 Plague Engineer, 2 Ashiok, and 2 Alpine Moon. Again, I still like Alpine Moon a lot better than Damping Sphere, especially when you're playing the Bloodbraid Elves. And the way I've made room for these Boils is I've shaved down to 2 Nile Spellbombs. I know I've mentioned in the past that I've been looking to cut one, but was really in no rush to do so. I'm a big fan of cards like Spellbomb, where they provide a meaningful impact while replacing themselves, so you get an effect without actually going down a card. And I've also shaved it down to 1 Pillage. I feel this is probably okay, because while I'm shaving down a Pillage, I'm bringing in another kind of land hate. Snapcaster in chat says, I forgot my Huntmasters. No, I didn't. This was a conscious decision. One I'm not happy about, but yeah. Alright, so let's take a look at the current metagame. So as I mentioned, there is a bit of a bump up in Uro piles. We notice now that the Bant version may be becoming more popular. At least this most recent deck list was the Bant variant for things like Little Teferi at 3 mana, Big Teferi at 5 mana, and also things like Path to Exile. Blitz previously number 1, but now down to number 2. Burn is still a really big player in at number 3. Oh, and it looks actually Blue-White Stoneblade actually fell all the way to 8. But Still Gruul at 4th, still E-Tron at 5th. Tron even creeping up a little bit more, up to 6, and Lurrus Aggro also creeping up some more. So I'm going to be pretty happy I've got Collective Brutality for things like Blitz, Burn, Lurrus Aggro, and even Gruul maybe, we'll see. Blue Eye Control as well. So with that said, let us get into a league. I think it's a mulligan. It's a pretty close hand, but we're missing both lands and threats. Like, if we're missing one thing, I think there's a better chance we keep. This hand's much better. But yeah, that last hand, like, even if we draw second lands, like, we have lots of stuff to do on 1 mana, but we're looking for too much, I think. What if Foothills could mean anything? It could be red-green, it could be Jund, it could be some version of Prowess. Breeding Pool. Okay, so maybe Temur Uro. Maybe Temur Uro. Could be Temur Titan. Field of the Dead. Okay. So this looks like an easy Cling to Dust. Oh, sorry, Inquisition. the other spell in my hand that I can cast. Not a super simple decision. This is very clearly now a Titan deck given the presence of Cavern of Souls and Sakura Tribe Elder even. So I think what's going to happen here is I'm just going to take the Explorer. Like, they both kind of ramp, but the Explorer draws a card. Possible I should take the Explorer because this isn't actually ramp. They need to draw the lands. I'm still just going to take the Explorer. I don't want them to find the Titan. They play so many copies that it's kind of impossible for them to not draw it at some point. But I like them not drawing extra cards when I can avoid it. Giant surprise. That was giant, comma, surprise, not giant surprise. So I can get the Red and 6 going, but I don't actually have anything to get back with it. Kind of unfortunate. Like, I could ping this, but they'll just sack it in response. I think this game is really going to hinge on if I can hit a land drop next. If I can draw a fetch land, that'll be really great, because then I can guarantee getting another one. We've got to redraw and cling, but I really don't want to have to redraw next turn. Alright, well now they're going to have all of their lands. We can cling it the next time they fetch. The issue is they're so close to Titan already. Furthermore, they're just going to get Field of the Dead online. I need a land here. Alright, perfect. So, I still think I want to Cling to Dust their forest after they target it. Unfortunately, that means I can't cast Liliana, but Liliana is not really guaranteed to be that great anyway. So I think what we're going to do here is just get a Stomping Ground tapped. There's not really... So like if I fetch Shock and then Cling and then draw a 2-drop, I can play it. So maybe that would be a reason. Just go ahead and Shock. Yeah, I guess I should in that case make sure I'm at as high life total as I can be at. I don't need another swamp. I would have to get a mountain. I don't hate that. Let's just get the mountain. I've got double black. I've got 1 red. Alright, so then we will Cling to Dust, targeting your foothills. Hopefully drawing like a Tarmogoyf for a Scavenging Ooze. And we'll just get this land back, and I guess that's it. So gonna have to get pretty lucky for a few draw steps. This is gonna be their 6th land for the Field of the Dead, given they can get a snow basic, or maybe even an island. Now pretty much none of their draws are dead except for redundant copies of lands. That's 2 zombies. That's really rough. Not only that, it's a fetch land to get back with Wrenn and 6. I wonder if this is a matchup for Boyle. We know they're playing, at minimum, an island. They may even be playing Dryad or the Illusory Grove. Alright, so they are playing multiple islands. So I think that means we're going to be boiling. Inquisition not going to do a whole lot. Alright, let's just Bloodbraid and see what we can hit. It's gonna be really, really hard to break through this wall now. Thoughtseize is not gonna do it. I knew they had the foothills. There was really no reason to cast that. This game is very over. I'm really just playing right now because I want to see if they have the Dryad. I mean, the odds I bring in Boyle anyway are really, really high, so this is probably just irrelevant. Yeah, let's just scoop it. I can't beat the Field of the Dead. Wrenn and 6 isn't even part of the equation. Alright, so Temur Pile. If they're playing Uro or something like that, I'm going to want to have Klothys. Ashiok seems quite strong. Boyle seems pretty strong, as does Pillage. I can bring in Alpine Moons to name stuff like Field of the Dead. There's a chance Brutality takes something like Explorer or Summoner's Pact, but I'm not sure how good that's going to be. We already have a lot of stuff we want to bring in. I'm not sure how much room we're going to have. Alright, I don't expect Lightning Bolt to do a whole lot. Cling could be great because they could be playing Uro. Wrenn and 6 isn't actually going to kill a whole lot. I like shaving 1 Bloodbraid just because it costs a lot of mana. We're going to have to try to be low to the ground here. I think I'm going to be cutting a Terminate. Like, we really don't want to be playing the 1-for-1 game when they're playing the 2-for-1 game. When I play against Temur Uro, I regularly board out both Terminates, or usually it's a Terminate and an Abrupt Decay. So maybe it's just this. It's kind of hard to cut any of my 2-mana threats because we need to pressure them fast and early. It's possible Kolaghan's Command doesn't do a whole lot, though. Maybe like a Terminate is better than a Kolaghan's Command. Kolaghan's Command may be clutch for like shooting something draw step. We're also going to want outs to like Dryad out of the Illusory Grove. I think I'm happy with this. Alright. It's hard to mulligan Inquisition and Tarmogoyf. We've got to push for something like a Dryad. And we've got lands to cast our spells, so now we just need to draw the spells. They're playing a Hydroid Krasis. Alright, so we've got to push for the Dryad like we mentioned. Hydroid Krasis is going to be annoying. I think I should just take that. They've already got the Titan for the Summoner's Pact. Plus, we might draw something like Ashiok. Although, on the other hand, these are all big mana payoffs. I'm just gonna. I think I'm supposed to take either the Dryad or the Hydroid Krasis. Let's just take Krasis. Because like now I can turn 2 Tarmogoyf, get them hopefully on the back foot, and then on my turn 3, if I draw like a 2-drop before then, I can hopefully double spell. All right, Cling is a spell at least. All right, so this is getting a green source and a black source. Say yes. Play my 3/4. Oof, Renin 6 is a good one for them, obviously. Alright, so here's the Widowfoot Hills back. We can attack it, but we can't add a type. Actually, that's a lie. Alright, that might make it easier. We can take at a minimum an enchantment, and that'll add something big to the yard. Alright, so let's Inquisition first. We can take the Dryad now. Let's just dismiss all of this. Again, they already have the Titan, so if they draw like a second Dryad, I'll want to push for that. Now we get to kill their Wren. Make Goyf a little bigger. I mean, this is a race to Titan for them. Things I don't want to see now are like the accelerants. Like I don't want to see a Explorer, especially Explorer. I don't want to see Sakura Tribe Scout or Elder. This is Titan, not Amulet Titan, as far as I know. And I think I will get the redraw in now. I can exile their Hydroid Krasis. That won't draw me a card though. Maybe I should just exile a Inquisition of Kozilek. I guess an Inquisition of Kozilek to draw the card. Don't want to exile the Renin 6 because it's keeping my Goyf pretty large. So I think I'll just take the redraw. Alright, ooh's not bad, just more pressure, and we add instant for Tarmogoyf. Ooh, Ashiok, really, really strong here. Alright, let's just start with the attack. I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to do this now, because if they draw something like a Sakura Tribe Elder, I'm going to want to make sure they can't sacrifice it. Speaking of sacrifice, the opponent smartly sacrifices their foothills. Alright, I don't even think I'm going to activate this. They can't escape an Uro if they find one. Not yet, at least. Explore. Okay, didn't really want to see that. Although we know the 2 lands in their hands are fetches. Huh, and they scoop. Alright, they just could not beat the Ashiok. I mean, they were going to get a 6/6 in play, but we were going to hit them for 6 again, and then their Titan was going to be forced to chump block my 6/7. Still did not see Uro. Does anything change while I'm on the draw? We know now they're definitely playing Summoner's Packs, although we kind of guessed that. Collective Brutality doesn't really kill anything meaningful. It does take Pact, though, but if I do that and miss, it's going to feel really, really bad. I think I'm just going to lean on these 6 to take Pact, or something else. Going to leave in the Cling still just a redraw, also can kill the arrows. Or not kill them, exile them. Liliana probably strong still. Weaker on the draw, obviously. I think I'm just okay keeping this. I think this hand might be a trap. Like, we get to cast everything, but push is one of our less meaningful spells. And a turn 2 Renin 6 is really, really slow. On the play, I'd be enticed to keep this, but maybe not even then. Opponent also mulliganed. Alright, this hand is better. It's got disruption and a decent early threat. Let's just bottom. Let's bottom a Verdant. Yeah. Keeping at least one fetch. Ooh, excellent draw. I was gonna say it's kind of awkward playing Alpine Moon now because they'll know to play a way around it. But having something else to do on 1 mana is really nice. Ooh, they have a Tireless Tracker, a Dryad, and an Explorer. So Explorer is their only means of acceleration. Dryad doesn't actually accelerate when they have so few lands. This Tracker might be the most annoying thing because it's gonna generate lots and lots of value while I'm chopping out to play stuff like Bloodbraid. So I think I'm just gonna take Tracker. So I imagine this is an Explorer, unless they do something ridiculous like a Renin 6. Alright, it's not Renin 6, cool. So there goes the Explorer. There goes the Misty. Alright, so we get to play our best, fastest threat right now. Or we could just Renin 6. I'm still pretty sure we should just be casting the Tarmogoyf here. Reason being is we just really need to pressure them. This is not ultimately going to come down to a resource game. I think we're racing to put them on the back foot as quickly as possible. Mountain is actually a pretty safe grab here. Might as well preserve the life. As it turns out, all of our spells are red, so it shouldn't impede us too much. So I imagine we're going to see a Dryad here. Explore, okay. So now we're going to see a Dryad, right? They can even play an additional land if they've got one more. They don't. Alright, so now I think I'm going to want to name the Field of the Dead. I get to Renin 6 and play Field of the Dead. I think I should probably attack first. There's a chance they block. I don't think they will. But if they do, we'll get to kill their thing. This attack is just free, so it's an effective bluff attack. Alright, so now we should probably cast Renin 6. Plus it on the Bloodstained Mire, and then fetch Shock for an Alpine Moon. Alright, and then I guess we just get... Well, it's definitely Blood Crypt or Stomping Ground. Blood Crypt is second black, painlessly next turn. We don't really need a lot of green unless we draw exactly Ooze, which doesn't even do a whole lot at this stage. I think I'm just leaning towards the Blood Crypt. And then we'll name Field of the Dead, clearly. Unfortunately, if they have Mana Source Titan, we're getting Titaned. Field of the Dead. Alright. Go. No Mana Source Titan, please. What I would really love to draw is my Boil, right? There are 2 of them. Remember, Boil would kill all of their lands, given that they're all currently islands, thanks to Dryad. What's up, James? How's it going? Alright, they attack the Wren. Another Dryad. Alright, Maelstrom Pulse works too. Alright, that isn't it. We can Bloodbraid and see if we hit it, though. So, however awkward, I think I'm just going to get basic Swamp here. Like, life totals could come up in this damage race. If they don't find Titan, it will evolve into a damage race. Swamp is a pretty bad draw. There are a few Cascades here, though, that would make me feel really, really comfortable. Can't hit Boil, because it costs 4. But I wouldn't mind my 1 of Maelstrom Pulse. Is it too early for my 1 time? Another run in 6. Not great. This one's going to have slightly higher loyalty. And adding the Planeswalker actually does make Goyf larger. Alright, here's the plan. We're going to attack both. Because if they block, we get to kill the second Dryad with the run in 6. We're okay if their other thing kills the run in 6. But this is going to add enchantment and make Goyf really, really big. Alright, so please no Mana Source and Titan. They didn't play... Actually, they did play, I guess, another Dryad last turn. Oh, they have it too? Brutal. They didn't even need to sacrifice that. It just taps for mana. Yeah, remember, we can't Cascade into Boil, unfortunately. Yep. Alright, well, they're not doing the Field of the Dead plan, but they'll probably just end up doing the Valakut Molten Pinnacle plan. Yep, we go to 1. I mean, I guess our route to victory is nothing, because we get attacked. I was going to say, like, we could Bloodbraid into something good, maybe, but we needed to dodge the Titan, and we obviously did not. What was next? Forest. Okay. Well, at least we know we weren't getting help either. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3. No guarantee that our 1 is going to be good. In fact, it's probably not. I mean, there's still hope. If this is the Eldrazi variant, there's a good chance we're in this. If this is the Eldrazi variant, cracking that fetch land may be a mistake. Because now we don't have Revolt. I mean, on the play, if they're regular Tron, Goyf into Liliana is one of the better ways to win. Alright, so it looks like it is Eldrazi. Alright, well, I'm not going to resist a turn to get Liliana down. Especially when next turn may be the Thought-Knot Seer turn. Doing this first, see how big I can make Goyf. Going to discard the 1-drop that is guaranteed to do nothing. Alright, they discarded a temple. Wow. Alright, so I think we're just going to have to hope to dodge the natural Tron. I mean, if they don't have natural Tron, we have an answer to a Thought-Knot Seer. But they discarded a temple, so that means they probably have it. No? Okay. That's pretty annoying, too. Another Tarmogoyf, though, is not bad. So I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to plus discarding Fatal Push. You know what? I think I'm actually going to Edict. Reason being is next turn could still be the Thought-Knot Seer turn, and I really don't want them to have multiple creatures on that kind of board. So let's minus. I'm aware they get the card off of it, but they're gonna get the card off of it at some point anyway this game. It's a good one to hit. Alright, so I guess now we're gonna play second Tarmogoyf. We can Peatland to crack it, but Ravine may actually be getting in at some point. We have push up, but it doesn't do anything. Smash, smash. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast the Fatal Push, targeting their Smasher, just because it puts instant in the yard. Alright, and this is going at Liliana, so Glyphs are going to be a 5/6s a piece. Alright, so let's put instant in the yard. This will get countered 2 different ways. It's funny that the activation on Raging Ravine is actually 1 short of lethal. Discard a card? No. So I think I am going to activate the Ravine, because that means I've got 3 lethal threats next turn. What's up, Trip 6? Yeah, Reality Smasher does make you discard a card. It's a pretty gnarly beast. All right. So we're putting you to 1 here. This means they have to take care of actually all of our attackers. And if they have Allah's Dust, that'll be awkward, because their Smasher will be able to block the Ravine, but it'll at least trade. Doesn't seem great for us. Karn. Alright, well they can Karn for something that costs 2. Not quite sure what that is. Like, they can get the liquid metal coating, but that doesn't even do anything here. If the liquid metal coating and then upkeep it, tap it on my Ravine, I get to activate the Ravine in response anyway, because attacking is a game action, not an ability. Or, well, that doesn't do it, because they can only exile 1 yard. It's like I said, turn 2 Tarmogoyf, turn 3 Inquisition is a way to beat them. And that's kind of what happened. Alright, so Plague Engineer gonna be good. Pillage gonna be good. Unsure of the Clothis, but I've misevaluated it before. Against the Eldrazi variant, I don't think Alpine Moon is going to be good enough. Their stuff is just way too castable. I'm going to shave a Ren and 6, doesn't actually hit anything. They play Chalice. I think I'm going to shave a Bolt. I do like them for finishing off Karn the Great Creators. This is a matchup where I'm pretty happy I'm playing second Terminate. Need to cut one. I'd like it to be a 1-drop because of Chalice. Probably Inquisition. Don't ever think that I'm actually gonna target that for target anything with that for value. So maybe the Inquisition is just better, or maybe I want to redraw to something actually more impactful, or like maybe I actually want this Lightning Bolt before I want the Cling. That I can definitely see. Let's give this a go. I think on the play I'll probably bring in the Clothis. It's probably way too slow on the draw. So Liliana is one of the better cards I have versus them. Push not so much. But I mean, we've got all the lands to cast the Lilianas. They've mulliganed to 5 as well. Okay. I mean, if I dodge like the nutty 5-card hand, then there's a chance the Liliana just shreds them. Relic. Okay, well, we don't have a hand that Relic particularly impacts. Now we do. Alright, I'm just going to go Blood Crypt taps. I can't really Fatal Push anything out of them on their turn 2. I'm still going to play the Goyf on turn 2. Ooh, they kept a 1-lander. I could just Inquisition them. Kind of think I will, to be honest. There's a good chance this bricks, but Goyf isn't attacking for anything anyway, and if I can shred their hand before I get Liliana in play, that seems like it's going to be strong. Alright, well, we're not on the creature plan yet. Let's just take the Maze Mind Tome. Alright, so ideally the opponent bricks on lands, because then this Liliana is going to shred them. If they draw a Tron land, then it could be pretty problematic. Alright, well, if they're going to draw a land, that's probably the best one for us, right after Wastes. Alright, Liliana's going to be on the strong side, I hope. Let's plus this. We can ditch a Cling. Cling's not actually going to do anything for us, especially when they've got a Relic. There goes the Contortion, so their hand is just the Worm Coil. James says, is this the new famous Silverbrig Jund? Well, according to one guy on Facebook, pretty close. Pretty close to that version. I'm playing the second Terminate. I'm not playing the Dark Confidant, though. Ooh, they drew Tower. Oh, they searched for Tower. Ooh, and they drew Tome. Alright, well, we do get to plus Liliana. They can sacrifice their Relic in response and discard that. So there's a good chance I want to just play the second Liliana to make sure that they're not Worm Coiling, because Worm Coil is going to be hard to beat if they rip the Tron land. Pretty interesting now. So I can Bloodbraid and just see what I hit. I guess let's plus first, because that's happening no matter what. And then I'll discard push first, and we can see what they do. Alright, well now that they've discarded the Worm Coil, I'm happy just Blood Braiding. Had they sacked the Relic in response, I'm not even certain that I'd be casting the Blood Braid here. Alright, let's see our one pillage. Creature's fine too. Just didn't want to see like Terminate or a spot removal spell. Alright, they should have probably done this in response, given that if they like rip a Tron land, that Worm Coil is going to be problematic. Like, we have the Liliana to deal with the big third of it. I guess big half if you're counting power and toughness, but if you're counting bodies, the big third. Alright, we're in an okay spot. The way the opponent gets back is like complete Tron and then cast all his dust. We've got decent follow-ups to it, but then their draws are probably better. So I don't think I am ever going to be plussing this Liliana of the Veil and discarding this Liliana of the Veil. So I think what's going to happen is I'll plus, discard Overgrown Tomb, and then next turn when I ultimate, assuming I get to ultimate, I'll cast second Liliana. Discard a mine, third mine. Alright, so attacking is the easy part. I don't know why they're floating mana. So now we have to think, what are the odds we get all is dusted? Do I want to commit another Tarmogoyf? So they have, if they complete the Tron, they've got the mana for it easy. If they play Eldrazi Temple, they're still short, right? They have 2, 3, 4, it'll be 5, 6, it costs 7. I think I'm so far ahead if this Liliana gets to ultimate that it may not be worth risking it, but that corner case is so tiny. Because like playing Tarmogoyf also shaves off the clock by a turn, which I mean would give them another turn to hit it. It's a pretty low risk but high return of cutting the clock off by a turn, because like they could still in theory just like draw creatures that are bigger than ours. Like Thought-Knot Seer is still bigger than all of our stuff. Reality Smasher is still bigger than all of our stuff. Ooh, got some lightning outside. Alright, so we're not getting all as dusted. Alright, they did top with their Maze Mind Tome, so maybe this is a Reality Smasher. Keep us off ultimate. Alright, that's unfortunate, but I don't really think we're going to need the ultimate to win. So now we have second Liliana to get rid of these the Smasher with. When they activate their tome again, they will be gaining 4. So that's something to think about. Oh, Kolaghan Skin makes this a little easier. I still think I want to get rid of their Smasher though. So let's just play this Liliana. Keep the new one, obviously. Put Planeswalker in the yard. Keep you. Put creature in the yard. And then we can hold up an activation on the ooze. It doesn't actually grow the Goyf though. Or it doesn't actually grow the attack because the Goyf would shrink. Alright, so they're at a virtual 8, right? Because they're going to 4 here and they can gain 4. So we still have lethal in play. They're drawing a card in their upkeep. I mean, I understand scrying in the upkeep, but drawing a card in the upkeep's a little weirder. Sweet, we beat Eldrazi Tron. That always feels good. I mean, finding multiple Tarmogoyfs and Lilianas is probably the way to do it. Game 1 we had Tarmogoyf into Liliana, and then here we had also Tarmogoyf and Liliana. And obviously the mulligan to 5 from the opponent is helpful. This looks like an easy mulligan. Running 6 into Catch-All at 3 mana is not going to be adequate. This is better. A little awkward that we don't have the fetch for the Renin 6. On account of that, maybe I just bottom this mountain. Like, we don't have double black anyway, so like if we draw Liliana, like the third land here isn't even useful. So let's just bottom mountain. They also mulliganed. Yep. So Swamp Inquisition probably means some version of black-green mid-range. I do want to cast Scavenge Ooze on turn 2 if I draw it. If I get there. Let's just play the Peatland. I know this means I'm going to have to take an extra life if I do want to Fatal Push something, but they don't know about the Tomb. That information's not really worth a whole lot, but it's okay. So yeah, it looks like it probably is Jund's. I guess some version of Black-Red Prowess or Elementals is still possible. But Jund wildly more popular than both of those combined. Assuming this is Jund, that's a pretty good draw. Let's play our Overgrown Tomb now. Because if they play something I want to Fatal Push, I'll be able to do it painlessly. The odds we want to Fatal Push something this turn are higher than just wanting to draw a green spell. Alright, we'll discard a push here. This Kroxa may end up being problematic. We are playing 2 Klings and a couple Oozes. 1 Ooze down. The third Fatal Push. Not exactly what we wanted to see. At least Fatal Push takes care of Kroxa, though, without needing Revolt. They do nothing? Interesting. Alright, land means we get to Bloodbraid. Given that they've done nothing, I don't really expect this Bloodbraid to contact them. We get to Cling the Kroxa. Sweet. So Cling already pulling its weight this matchup. Bloodbraid doing its impression of General Kudrow. And it actually contacted them? Oh, they are just Jund. Alright, so this means we might be getting Bloodbraided right back. Although I'm thinking so long about this shock makes me think maybe not. Jund is a matchup where I'm happy to have third Fatal Push over Bolt. We do have the third Fatal Push, so that's kind of funny if it comes up. to note, the text on Cling to Dust's escape may be coming up, just netting a card. Alright, well maybe not now. They do ever not have the green. We can Fatal Push their thing. Let's just get it out of the way. The attack is easy. I have some reverb going on the mic. Is that what you mean? I did a mic check before this, and it seemed to be okay. All right, I'll try to fix it in between matches. It was fine when. Was it fine before? Now it's just doing the weird thing. Picked it up a bit ago. Let me do some wiggling. Doubt that did anything, but if it is still doing it in about 15-20 minutes, I'll fix it up. Thanks for the heads up, though. Alright, they have Revolt. Rude. Alright, then in step I'll sack the Peatland. They don't actually know about this Fatal Push, because the two they knew about are both in the graveyard. Goyf. Alright, well, we get to push that. So again, pretty glad I have third push, because one of these pushes was going to be a lightning bolt. Alright, so let's sack this. Not good. We do have Cling to Dust to act as a redraw. But I mean, who needs a redraw when you draw Bloodbraid? Alright, and obviously we're gonna leave up a green here in case we hit our other Scavenging Ooze. We'll only be able to activate it. Liliana is excellent though. Get their last card out of their hand. If it's a bolt, they do get to kill the Liliana with the Bloodbraid still on the stack, but they don't. There's a Pulse. Alright, so now we're pretty ahead. Ooh, thanks Satan for the cheer. Spelled S8M. Alright, so barring a Bloodbraid of their own off the top, I'll feel pretty good. Alright, they hit a land, so we're doing well now. Alright, well, we're going to continue plussing the Liliana. Oh, the audio fixed itself? Excellent. To be honest, there's been a lot of thunder outside. It's been very low and boomy. I don't know if that would have an impact on it. Maybe it just like restabilized or something. I'm not an audio technician though, so that I may just sound like a complete idiot. I mean, the desk that my mic has been on has vibrated because of the thunder outside, so maybe, I don't know. Alright, opponent drew another land, sweet. I could Cling to Dust now. Yeah, let's do it. We have almost enough cards to do it again anyway. And let's target a thing that would make us draw a card. Leaving the Nurturing Peatland in case we draw a Wrenn and 6. Exiling our own creatures in case they draw Skoos. Not bad. And honestly, I'm just going to pass. There's like nothing... Like the ultimate is not going to do anything here. If they cast something like Bloodbraid or even a Tarmogoyf, I'm going to want a way to kill it so I can just kill them next turn. I already have the Liliana in play if they hit the Tarmogoyf. So, I mean, I guess keeping both is a failsafe versus Bloodbraid. But, I mean, in the top deck war, the opponent just drew really, really terribly. Let's show them that we have the kill. Alright, so the mirror. Given that we saw Kroxa, I think Ashiok's probably going to be okay. And I think this highlights the reason why I'm not a particularly strong fan of Kroxa currently. Because Uro is so popular that people already have this efficient hate just in their sideboards. Like, I'd definitely bring in these three in the mirror no matter what. But the Ashiok is kind of borderline. And just because I know they have Kroxa now, I like definitely want it. It would be better if I were playing my own, because I can like exile theirs and find my own, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to take out definitely the Inquisitions. If you're going to leave one of the two in, I prefer leaving in Thoughtseize because it has the ability to take Bloodbraid, and Bloodbraid is one of the more important cards. Do I want any of these more than the Thoughtseize? I think I want just anything over the Thoughtseize. Probably a Plague Engineer or a Brutality. Brutality can clear the way for one of my creatures. Plague Engineer might have some utility in that it'll trade with pretty much anything, though. It even makes my glyphs bigger than theirs. Feels weird, though. There aren't really any creatures this kills well. Also, the opponent may be playing Seasoned Pyromancer, so that would be another reason to play a Plague Engineer, just as a hedge. Let's give this a go. But yeah, really dislike the hand disruption in the mirrors. This hand's pretty good. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, the opponent kept in the hand disruption. So in terms of long game, I think this is going to give us a leg up. But right now, it's obviously fine. Like, the first 4 or 5 turns, like, the stuff can be pretty okay. But these games, I feel, often come down to the top deck war, and then drawing an Inquisition or Thoughtseize when you're both Hellbent and just trying to draw Bloodbraids or Glyphs or Oozes or Lilianas, literally anything else. Inquisition feels really, really bad. That felt really, really good. Alright, so there's a chance I want to Fatal Push something. If I draw Red and 6, I'm going to really, really want to cast it, though. It would be Stomping Ground. I could shock Stomping Ground, but that doesn't seem super worth it. Let's just play this tapped. I think the 2 life might come up more often than my wanting to bolt something on their end step. Also, if I shock, they just might not play something that gets bolted, like a Scavenging Ooze. Alright, well, they probably wanted to take a Bloodbraid here. They still will. But seeing a second one is a bit of a tilt. For them, not for me. And again, these spells generally not good, but if you can be skilled and draw them super early, then fine. Alright, it looks like the opponent even kept a risky 1-lander. I mean, mulliganing does suck in the mirror, but not as much as keeping a 1-lander. I guess a push on Tarmogoyf would make sense. They wouldn't keep a 1-lander without having some number of things they could cast. Maybe they have Ren and 6, because that would make a one land hand that draws any fetch land really good. They even had the fetch already, so it was just like actual any land that would be good. Alright, and they have the push. Makes sense. So now the hope is that we dodge the Ren and 6. If they cast Ren and 6 and target a Verdant... oh, they brought in Surgical? Interesting. I mean, this is still a 1-for-1. I mean, so I guess that this is effectively another Thoughtseize is what it is. I mean, this does mean that we can't draw further Bloodbraids. Although the opponent bringing in lots and lots of dead cards, and, well, not lots of dead cards, but still having potentially dead cards, makes me feel comfortable in a long game. The issue is that they've drawn all of it when it's good, as opposed to any other turn. Oof, they got the Liliana, huh? Okay, alright, so now we're behind. And we can't draw Bloodbraid, so I'm pretty okay just discarding this Tomb. I think I'm going to bolt the Liliana. This opens up a lot of draws to be good for us. Like Ren and 6 would be good, another bolt would be good, Kolaghanskin would be great. But we only have one red. And like if I cast it, if I draw a creature, I'm going to want to have this bolted anyway, because then we just get edicted. So I think a bolt here is defensible. Spellbomb an okay one. I'll just pass. If they plus the Liliana, I may sack Spellbomb in response. I mean, odds are they plus it. Cling my Tarmogoyf. Yep, that gains you 3. And they didn't plus their Liliana, their card's got to be really, really good then. Because you want to have that Edict on board. Pretty sure. So, I mean, their card like has to be Bloodbraid. Would love to find Liliana of my own. That's not it. Let's just pass. I know this means I can't cast both Terminates, but that seems okay. If they plus, I'm going to want to discard a Verdant. Yeah, I mean, this is when Inquisitions start being bad. Yeah, so their card has to be Bloodbraid because they just straight didn't play anything right now. Alright, well, it's coming online next turn. Not good. Alright, so I imagine here comes Bloodbraid. Yup. It makes sense. Trophy. Sure. That's one of the better hits for me, because that just doesn't do anything here. They just don't even cast it. I mean, you can hit a land to make my mana slightly worse if you want. They didn't plus again, so their card's got to be pretty desirable. I think I want more green. I would like another Stomping Ground, but I want more green if I draw an Ooze. triple black isn't really going to mean anything. Yeah, let's just get the green. Alright, we drew a Goyf. That can at least kill the Liliana. Because, like, you got to imagine they're going to Edict it. Alright, I mean, this Clean to Dust is probably going to come up at some point and just draw another card. So I would not be surprised if they have another Bloodbraid, because they didn't plus this. They didn't even Edict? Something's fishy. That doesn't make much sense to me. Maybe they're trying to Kolaghan's Command here, but even then they'd want to Edict me. Like, they just have to have a push, but even then, like, you wanna minus the Liliana. I mean, if they this could be a Kolaghan's Command, but I'll Clean to Dust their Bloodbraid if that's what they're trying to get back, which I'm assuming it would be. Or it's like, is it a Cling of their own? No, this gotta be a K command. Alright, so Cling to Dust. Proving to be a player here. Alright, so if they draw an Ooze of their own, I'm probably not going to want my creatures in the yard. It makes my Kolaghan's Command slightly worse, though. It's only one creature. Alright, I want to keep a land for the run in 6. Let's make it a Verdant. So I've got one Verdant there still. Planeswalkers are making Glyphs huge. I'm on the back foot, so I want Glyph to be relatively small, so probably this. Gain 3. I will discard a Black Leaf Cliffs. Alright, and now they can plus Liliana again. Probably should. They should plus now. Okay, they figured it out. Alright, so we're under the soft lock. I would say I'm gonna need a Bloodbraid to get back, but they surgicaled that. Alright, we get to Clean the Dust. End step, I guess. I mean, if they attack with the Ravine, I'll do it in response. Because maybe we draw a Fatal Push for it. Can't draw Terminate, both of those are gone. Surgical Extract my Tarmogoyf? I guess. I'm not going to Cling my own Goyf. I mean, the opponent has brought in some pretty strange stuff. So we have no more Goyfs, and we have no more Bloodbraids. So our ways to win now are, I guess, Scavenging Ooze. And, I mean, Scavenging Oozes are only, like, hard hitter. Alright, see if we hit a Fatal Push or something. Ashiok. Ashiok not gonna do it. It's gonna feed our Cling. That's on the late side, unfortunately. Alright, let's just feed our Cling. If they plus the Liliana, we can K-Command in response. Alternatively, we could just, we can K-Command them on their draw step. Have them discard, shock the Liliana. I mean, they're still going to have stuff to do because of Raging Ravine, which is unfortunate. So they could go after the Ren, but we're just dead in 2 hits to Ravine, so they probably just go at us. Soft lock continues. Land's not quite gonna get there. I mean, we're gonna have to draw the removal spell in combat now. So assuming we kill this Ravine, that other Ravine only hits us for 4 on its first try, so there's not a huge difference between 2 and 1. Alright, so we will cling. We can target a creature, but we don't actually have any. So let's just cling a Blackleaf Cliffs. Alright, so we need a push here. Ooh, Kolaghan's Command does not do it. Alright, I mean, the opponent found all of their hand disruption really, really early. Pretty unfortunate. Don't think I'm bringing in Pilla just because we died to a Ravine. That seems like a mistake. Let's just resubmit. Let's go first. Yikes. Second hand, then this hand would be amazing. Don't think we can keep it, especially on the play. Alright, this hand's fine. The odds we draw lands are pretty high. Let's just bottom a forest. To note, we did see that the opponent is playing multiple surgical extractions. So, I'm going to be very careful with the 2 Verdants in my hand. I still think I should be careful with the 2 Verdants in my hand. Alright, let's just ditch a lightning bolt. Alright, so I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to take a total of 7 life to get the ooze down. I mean, I guess I can save the life now. Having 2 in play might mean that they aren't as inclined to cast a surgical. So let's go Overgrown Tomb, Stomping Ground, and then first one's getting Overgrown Tomb, that's for sure. I think I want to get Basic Swamp with this, which means this one will be Stomping Ground. Alright, well now we'll just do that. And I think I'm just going to eat their Kroxa now to get it out of Kolaghan's command range. So that's definitely something that could happen. They Liliana, it'll be unfortunate, but we've got the Bloodbraid to take it down afterwards. So while it would suck if we hit actual anything good, we could swing a race with the Bloodbraid. I don't quite think we're in race territory yet. Still probably a card advantage game. Bolt, rude. They didn't actually have to do that now. There are no more creatures for it to eat. Alright, I mean, our hand's quite good. Hopefully they don't kill one and then surgical it. We do know they're playing multiple surgicals, so I'll have to be careful. I think my hand's very good if I can avoid one of their two. Liliana would be the nuts. Alright, so return a creature and discard a card. So, I mean, if they have surgical, this will probably evoke it. I guess they don't. I mean, we do actually outsize this Goyf right now. I highly doubt we'll outsize it by the time it's their turn to attack, so we should probably get in while the getting's good. Bloodbraid of your own. Makes sense. Thoughtseize. That'll take a Bloodbraid. And then I guess we're just gonna really hope they don't have that surgical. Although I would guess they don't, on account of them not surgicaling the ooze in response to me casting it. Or we're getting it back with my own Kolaghan's command. And as suspected, I can no longer effectively block a Tarmogoyf. This ooze may be able to keep it under control, though. Oh, they're draw stepping. They do have the surgical? Wow. Yikes. Alright, so I mean, I guess let's just ooze now. We can control the Goyf. So there is currently a single sorcery in the yard. Is an attack risky here? They can attack with the Ravine for a total of 4, 7, 10. That's one short. And it would involve them dying on the backswing. So they would be tapping Peatland, putting them to 5. We've got 5 on board. I wonder if they just drew the surgical. But it was a brutal one. I mean, I'm not a fan of bringing in surgical in the matchup, but I mean, it's worked for them twice. They've sniped a Bloodbraid out of my hand each time, which is still like a 1-for-1. It was effectively a Thoughtseize both times. Another Goyf is chonky. Alright. I mean, they're at 5. They're gonna have to be careful. They are dead to just a single thing hitting them and the bolt. Alright, so right now this is 6, 8. I think I'm just drawing to removal. I get to shrink Goyf a little bit now, so I take less damage. So this is 8. Can't take out any more types right now. Alright, if I draw spot removal, they die. So I think this attack might have been a misstep. I mean, I also need to draw something now or I die, so maybe that was the play from them. It's a redraw. Alright, so let's tap the non-green one. Not playing Seasoned Pyromancer, so double red not really a consideration. Lucky, need to get lucky. That's not lucky. So we are technically just dead, but they don't know that. James asks why the opponent is bringing in Surgical. I do not know. I personally would not bring in the Surgical if I had access to it. I also don't know what they would have brought it in for. They've kept in all of their Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes, it seems like, which is another thing I disagree with. But I mean, they drew their Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes only early in the game, which is the only time they're good. And they hit something with their Surgical each time. I don't know if that's luck or if that's just the plan. But yeah, I would agree, it does seem bad. It worked out for them, though, so I mean, if it works, who knows? I mean, I'm down to being proven wrong, but it does not seem good to me. Alright, and another thing they're doing wrong here. I'm pretty sure they should not be doing this. They're playing really reckless, because like now they just die to a bolt. I mean, like I said, like what they're doing worked for them, but I'm pretty sure I would have done a lot of things differently. But that's just me. But yeah, usually, I'm pretty sure you want to be taking out your Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes because they are only good on like the first few turns. I guess it's slightly better to leave them in if you've got Surgical, because like you can hope to hit 2 things. But even that doesn't seem great. Because like if you hit 1 thing with the Surgical out of someone's hand, it's still just a 1-for-1, basically another Thoughtseize. And Thoughtseize is already a card I don't think I want to play versus Jund. But I mean, again, it worked for them. Let's play. Darn. Let's not play, I suppose. We did it again, hopefully. Yikes. I think on the draw we probably keep this. On the play it's much riskier. Like on the draw I almost definitely keep. The play is a different story. This is good though. I think I'm just gonna bottom a Cling. I think I want to make sure I can cast this Liliana. Is it another mirror? Mirrors are fun, but I don't really feel very confident that it's as much a skill game as it is a who draws better game. I'm gonna get Stomping Ground here. I want a lot of green for the ooze. Then I'll shock in an Overgrown Tomb and play the ooze. Change of plans. They still have full information, which is unfortunate. Bummer. Yeah, alright, I have nothing. Now would be a really good time for one of the Planeswalkers. There are 7 of them. That one's good too. I'm gonna save one more life by just getting basic next turn, as opposed to fetching end of turn. And then having a shock. Oh, maybe they're not, John. This might be the 3-1 with haste. Okay, I don't know what this is. There's like goblins? Well, that one will be good eventually. Alright, we've already got double black. Probably should just get Forest here in case I draw an ooze, but Forest might play strangely with the Terminate. We do have one ooze gone already. We've got double black for the Lilianas. I'm just gonna get the Forest. The odds it matters. I feel like the odds that it matters are lower than the odds we just like hit the other Scavenging Ooze. Kill the thing. Darn. The opponent's deck is pretty interesting. They're playing just a bunch of good removal and 2-mana 3/1s that don't have evasion. I don't get it. I have a feeling we're gonna get it pretty soon though. So go 1 versus us. Unearth. Okay, so they're just like black-red aggro, I suppose. We need like a Tarmogoyf for another Bloodbraid. That's not exactly what we wanted to see. Seems like it'd be a Croxa deck. Oh, it's the Skelemental thing. I guess that makes some amount of sense. Don't think I want to Fatal Push an Elemental. I'll do an end step now that they haven't played anything ridiculous afterwards. It's like if I draw a Liliana, I'm going to want the board to be pretty empty. Alright, starts with that. I guess that's another reason the Fatal Push is I want to tap out for this Bloodbraid. Alright, that's not a great one. Might do something though. A bolt and a push. Alright, I'll take a bolt. What are the odds we win a race? I mean, we need 5 hits for that to happen. They need 6, but I mean, they've got Castle. They've also got a bolt in their hand. Or, sorry, a push. Yeah, let's attack. Like, I don't block super well anyway. Like, if they attack with their 2/2, I'm not going to just block it and, like, have them have an activated ability. So, I mean, given that I'm not blocking, I think I'm just going to attack. Alright, so now they get to castle and have up the Fatal Push. Thought I yielded. I guess not. More Bloodbraids would be good. Liliana's would be good. Renin 6 is fine. So it's probably slightly above average, actually. Alright, let's just Renin 6. It does actually change the clock by a full turn. I think I'm going to get a land back first, though. Like, they can hit the Renin 6 for 3 if they really want to. I mean, if this is their plan, that's okay. We are winning the race now if we're just only attacking for the rest of the game. We're going at me? Sure. Don't think there's a huge difference between 6 and 5. Let's get more green. Third black. Torment Wave's a great one. That gets Fatal Pushed, unfortunately. Alright, so then pinging them means that one Bloodbraid attack is actually just lethal. I'm not going to not play it, so here's a Fatal Push target. I do die to a few things. Skelemental, Lightning Bolt of their own, also Kroxa. So I mean, maybe Kroxa was a reason to not play anything. It's like, if it's dying anyway, it's dying anyway. Alright, well there's Revolt. But their push is gone. Huh, they're not attacking. So I guess their other card's got to be a dead one. All of our burn does it. Kolaghan's Command does it. Don't think I'm going to attack, because then they get to just bring their thing back. I mean, this is my clock now. Gonna have to dodge something good again. Can't really sack, because then they just die if they draw one more dud. That's a dud. And this is what I mean about how, like, obviously this isn't a Jund deck, but drawing this stuff late game is really, really bad. Alright, they do have the Kroxa, wow. Alright, so I'll ditch a land, which means I go to 2. So if they get to escape the Kroxa, I do die. They probably should have attacked first, because that puts me in a tough spot. Like, if they attack now, I obviously have to block. So Bloodbraid does it, another Renin 6 does it, Kolaghan's Command does it, Lightning Bolt does it. There we go. And then we'll return a Bloodbraid for flavor. Alright, so black, red, mid-range, unearth pile. Cloth is probably going to be fine. We saw unearth, so Spellbomb's probably going to be good. Plague Engineer is going to be good for naming stuff like Elemental. Also, we saw that they played a 3-1 Goblin with haste, so we could name Goblin, who knows. I think Brutality is going to be fine. It kills most of their stuff that sticks on the field. Ashiok could also be a good consideration. It's all on the slow side. They're seemingly aggro, but they're playing Seasoned Pyromancer. They're also playing Unearth. So maybe more Grave Hate is warranted. But we've already got 2 Klings, 2 Oozes, so maybe not. We're even bringing in a Klothys. Liliana seems worse against them, especially on the draw. Running 6 actually does kill a good amount of their stuff. These Thought Seizes seem really, really weak. Brutality, not excellent, but probably good enough to play at least 1 or 2. This has us needing to cut 3. Let's cut 1 Inquisition. I really don't want to draw those late game, but early-ish they could be pretty good. It's possible Pulse is just too slow of an answer. It's possible I want to shave a Bloodbraid while I'm on the draw, just because it's so much mana. But I need ways to swing Erase when I'm finally stabilizing. Kling seems important. They're playing Kroxa and Unearth. I'm gonna play 3 Inquisitions. I want all the 1 mana removal. Spellbomb's great. Maybe this Brutality is just not where I want to be. Just keep all the instant speed answers and all the better threats. I think Liliana's gonna be fine-ish, but not as a 4-of on the draw. So let's give this a go. Yeah, this hand's fine. We've got our best threat and 2 ways to kill stuff early. More lands are going to be pretty painful. But and they mulled to 5. Okay, this hand looks really, really good now. Like, if you take away 2 of the lands from this hand, this is a very keepable 5. Sure. I guess there goes a Goyf. I think they wanted to take this stuff out. I think this player makes the same mistake as the last opponent. But I mean, this is not Jund, so maybe I just don't really understand what they're trying to do. It's like a bolt. Interesting. I guess that means I've got push for my threat. Alright, there's a backup threat, so that's nice. Small chance I should be playing around Blood Moon here, but we didn't see a whole lot of basic swamps last game. We played one on turn 1, and that was kind of it, right? There's a swamp. Alright, well, I can't play Ooze if I don't shock here. We kind of have the read that they have the Fatal Push, but at least that means Ooze will get to stick around, ideally. Ooh, this even gets bolted. Let's play the Ooze. They kind of have to kill this too, but I really don't want my Goyf getting bolted. That would have been a reason to fetch shock. So maybe I just thought a little too quickly there. That's good. So I've got so many lands. I'm not even going to play the Blackleaf Cliffs here. I think I just don't want to incidentally die to a Blood Moon if they've got another push. Because that's the corner case that I probably lose. Is if they push this and then moon me. I've got so many lands, like I just really don't care about this one coming in untapped. And then Forest is more important, probably. Alright, so probably not playing Blood Moon if they're not getting another swamp here. Honestly, I'm just going to discard 2 lands. Keep the bolt in my hand. This is fine. Now I really think I'm not getting Blood Moon, so let's just get a Shockland tapped. Second Goyf, pretty nice. This one's looking in the bag. Barring something strange. Doubt they're playing Relic, because they're playing Unearths and Croxes and stuff. Well, they know about the Bolt. Skelemental does not block very effectively, given that it dies like at the end step. Swamp, not great. Alright, let's just jam. I guess I shouldn't just jam, because another corner case where I lose is they bolt me and then Skelemental me. I guess if they bolt me and Skelemental me, that doesn't even put me dead either. Because I'm at 10, not 9. I'll keep the card in hand. If they Skelemental, I win anyway. Yay. They're respectable but not great 2/2. Spider space. I hate spiders. Oof. We're missing a color. And that color casts all of our spells other than this very painful one. This is really, really close. I mean, any land lets us Liliana. Like, if this is something like the Mirror, this hand's great, but if we play against anything fast, it sucks. Oh, James says that Spider Space is a streamer. Yikes. Normally playing blue-based control. Well, this is a good hand versus blue-based control. Honestly, it's like, assuming it's not prowess, I think I want to ditch a bolt. Like, I've got some of my better plays. I think I'm gonna bottom a Bloodbraid and a bolt. I can go turn 1 Inquisition. Ideally, I draw untapped land and can Tarmogoyf. Oh, hey, Satan S8N. Thanks for the subscription. I appreciate it. And James, of course, is right as he usually is. Alright, so I mean, if we draw untapped land, we're gonna get to Goyf under this mana leak. The Brazen Borrower actually seems like it's gonna be the most annoying thing. Just like being a threat and buying time. Come on, untapped land. Not that one. Should have been more specific. Yeah, tier 1 sub for you. Alright, so now our Goyf gets leaked. I mean, it's going to line up with something at some point anyway. This streamer hates playing versus Jund. Well, they probably like it more when I mulligan to 5. This is gonna get leaked, but it's getting leaked no matter what at some point. Like, I could wait, but like next turn doesn't really get any better. Yeah, I mean, getting that Goyf down would have been really, really big. That's not the land I wanted. I guess Blackleaf Cliffs would have been worse. So it's not the worst land I could have hit. Alright, let's just get a forest. We can still cast everything this way. If I draw an ooze, I'll probably want to have it up the same turn. Although as it stands, they're going to have Snap, Leak up, and or Cryptic Command. This Bloodbraid's going to have to be on the insane side. I mean, they even have a clean answer to this Bloodbraid. If they Snap, Leak, whatever it hits, their 2/1 kind of bodies this 3/2 pretty well. Yeah, I think blue white is a pretty fun matchup though. It can be just on the swingy side. Yeah, I think the matchup's pretty even, James. I would agree with that. We have some pretty good sideboard cards, but so do they. Snow Island? Surprise. So it's going to be pretty hard to beat just the 2 cards that we know about. They've got a bunch of other ones too. And Mountain is, I think, our worst draw. Because it's a basic versus the Path to Exile Field of Ruin deck. Thoughtseize was actually one of the better hits. Yeah, they'll just leak it. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I described before. I get to Lightning Bolt the Snapcaster Mage so I can get an attack in. I mean, Bolt's not going to have a much better target other than like a Jace the Mind Sculptor. I mean, we've got a Raging Ravine. They're playing Field of Ruin. Not good. Alright, so let's just attack again. Highly doubt they'll tap draw, but in the event that comes up at some point, after the Cryptic resolves, I can then activate a Ravine. Oh, is this like a Shark Typhoon? Shark Typhoon would be gnarly here. Don't think I'm beating a Shark Typhoon. I mean, I don't think I'm beating this Cryptic. My hand is actually just empty. I've been pretty impressed with Shark Typhoon as a card. Draw 2. Yeah. I'm gonna need like running Blood Braids to have a shot. Alright, here's the thing you can eat with your Cryptic. Counter draw. Yep, makes sense to me. Yikes. So unless they have 2 Path to Exiles, this Brainstorm is a little funky to me. Yep. Whoa. So we get to kill both walkers here? I mean, this is assuming that this actually resolves. We're not going to actually get to Cascade because of Teferi. Oh, this was stupid. This was really bad. I should have definitely tried to kill their Teferi first. That's my bad. It was like, if it works, we actually get to Cascade. I would imagine we've got a Force Negation on the way, but assuming this does resolve, that's a... Yeah, I made a big mistake there. So we should be up another card right now, but... I learned something, though. Just gonna activate a Column Blade and shoot this thing. Yeah. So yeah, missing out on that card here could mean a lot, because like if it was going to be like a Tarmogoyf or something, this attack would actually be threatening lethal. That hit them? Is their hand really just that bad? I mean, I never expected to be even close to in this game. Alright, well, field means that a Ravine is no longer effective. Ah, I see. So this gets Batterskull? Darn. So yeah, my slight error may end up costing us. Not bad. So they can just block with Colonnade, which doesn't seem great for us. So I guess we just main phase this. I guess if they remand it, we're going to want to have double black still available. I doubt remand is what's happening here, though. Like I'm very behind any cryptic. As it stands, I don't even have a block. All right, this makes some sense. Now we're just gonna get Batterskulled. But yeah, I did not expect to have a chance in this game. Unfortunately, we actually ended up having one, but I blew it by not getting that extra card off of the Bloodbraid. Butterskull. Yeah, it doesn't matter what we do now because they'll just equip the other thing. Yikes. So we would have actually ended up cascading into that Liliana too. So yeah, ended up being costly. Alright, Spellbomb's going to be good. Brutality is going to be great. Ashiok going to be great. And the Boil's also probably going to be great. Don't think I want Pillage just for equipment. I've already got a lot of answers to those. Alright, let's cut some Inquisitions. We're bringing in Brutalities, and I like the Thoughtseizes more because these hit things like Jace the Mind Sculptor, Big Teferi, and Cryptic Command. Fatal Push I like less, but they are playing the Stoneforge package, so I'll have to be careful. Don't think I want to play the 1-for-1 game. This has me needing to cut 4. Think I don't mind just cutting a land. Which land would it be, though? Not a basic. Maybe just a fetch. I think I want the Peatlands because they're all redraws. Let's cut a Mire. I guess, actually, my 1 Wooded Foothills is probably worse. Oh, why didn't I bring in this Clothis? That seems easy. This has me needing to cut 4 again. Jeez. Alright, well, we brought in more Grave Hate, so maybe this Grave Hate isn't as necessary, although it does draw cards. Wow. There's, like, not a lot I want to take out. So let's just trim. Okay, so let's take out Inquisition. We have the Brutality still. A lot of their removal is exile-based, so maybe K-Command isn't as good, but they do play lots and lots of equipment. Let's take out Goyfs. Goyfs are the biggest beaters, but it's a resource game. And I don't really think Goyf wins the resource battle. Is it possible I want to bring in more hand disruption over Goyf? I think I do. Let's cut another Goyf. Really, what? Yeah, James. Oh yeah, cutting the Goyfs. Yeah, I think cutting the Goyfs is probably right. Against Blue-White Control, like it very often does not come down to a racing scenario. More often than not, the person who drew like 3 more cards than the opponent is going to be ahead. I mean, look how close that game was, and we were down 2 cards. Had we had 1 more, i.e., me not punting into that Teferi, I think we might have won. Yeah, Goif's the baby. It's okay. We got one. We got one in the deck. That's the baby. So fetch land would be good. That's fine too. Fortunately, we're not getting any value off of this immediately. But getting it down is nice too. Turn 2, Ren and 6 might actually just win by itself if I can get to an ultimate and they're not playing Rest in Peace. Sure. So, I mean, I'm going to cling just about anything on the end step. Would really like to hit a 4th land. I'll specify this time untapped, preferably. Oh, it's a Teferi. Teferi would be rude. Yeah, okay, so I guess I'm just going to cling in response. Get your opt out of here. Ooze. Alright, now it'll resolve. So I guess they're just going to plus it here. So what I can do now is play my Scavenging Ooze and Lightning Bolt the Teferi. That means they won't be able to bounce it with Teferi. And we even drew the land. Alright, well I'm really sure that I want to get the extra cards off of these blood braids. So let's get the ooze down. Continue plussing. This is gonna be a good game. The Forge Mystic. Butterball. Could be Feast and Famine though. Yep. Alright, well we've got the K command for it. Right on time. So there are not yet any artifacts, sorry, lands in the yard to the run insects, and there are also not any creatures for us to eat with the ooze. I mean, I guess we attack the Teferi. If they don't block, we can use the run insects to ping it off. I mean, they're also not super wanting to block. Alright, I guess they'll block with that. So now we're going to have to Kolaghan's command to kill the Stoneforge, because we really don't want anything wielding that equipment. I guess I get to eat their land on the way out. Still get to cast Kolaghan's command. I mean, this means that we're gonna keep a run in 6 on 7. I guess we just hope they don't have a Force of Negation on top of this. So I guess we'll return Scavenging Ooze 2 to their Stoneforge. You just have them discard. Definitely killing Stoneforge. We only got 1 green. I think I'm just gonna... It's on the closer side, actually, I think. Let's get the ooze back. Please, no Force of Negation. Cool. Alright, we are 1 off of ultimate. Alright, I mean, we get to ultimate, but we don't actually have any lands to flash back the Kolaghan's command. I think we're just going to die to the equipment. It's like, we can ultimate, but we are not flashing anything back. Wow, that's upsetting. Pretty sure we're just dead. Can't play the ooze because we're forced to block with the. We're forced to block if they equip Fire and Ice, and the 2 damage will just kill the ooze anyway. If they equip the Feast and Famine, they're just gonna have protection from green, so that doesn't work. My Bloodbraids don't cascade because of their Teferi, so that doesn't work. And then Klothys doesn't do anything until next turn, which lets them hit us with a sword anyway. There's just no good way to do this. Yikes. Yeah, there's like actual nothing good for us to do. I mean, I guess Klothys is the one thing that we can do that doesn't just immediately die. I mean, I could just be like, hey, look, a distraction. This Teferi is just wrecking my world, though. I mean, I guess this is another distraction. Not going well. We do have Shark Typhoon in the deck. Oh, we're so dead. We are so dead. And scoop. Yikes, so not a very promising league. 2-3. Gonna be doing another one though, as a separate recording as soon as I wrap this one up. So let me do my my wrap up / summary really fast, and then I'll jump into another one. Alright, so Ren and 6s were still fine. I liked that Terminate's a good amount. I never had the Terminate in hand and wanted to kill something that... I never wanted to kill something that wasn't a creature where a Decay or an Assassin's Trophy would have. I liked the split of 3 push, 3 bolt. We actually saw the third... We actually saw the third Fatal Push be very good versus a Jund Mirror. The Cling Dusts were still very strong. The Oozes was still good. I still think I want to play 2 of those. Goyf's obviously fantastic. Pretty sure 4 Lilianas is still where I want to be. I think this main deck, at least for me, feels really tight. I don't know what I would change, if anything. I could see going down a land to maybe fit something in, but that seems a little risky. My sideboard, I liked. Unsure of the Pillage if I'm also playing Boil. I guess the places where things like Pillage and Boil don't overlap are really just Eldrazi Tron. So maybe I should just swap the Pillage out for something else. But the Ashioks were good. The Plague Engineers were good. The Alpine Moon didn't... We brought it in once and we played it once, and it wasn't good, but not because it wasn't land hate. It was bad because we named Field of the Dead and the opponent just killed us with Valakut. So that's not really its problem. Things like Damping Sphere would not have worked either. So, I mean, that is where Pillage is good. I just had an argument for taking it out. And we did bring in the Boils versus that opponent, and we just didn't see them. We also mulliganed a lot. I think we had 4 mulligans to 5, and I think we kept a total of like 3 or 4 hands this league. I may be wrong, but I can go back and double check at some point. So yeah, I think we just had a below average quality of opening hand, and we really mulliganed a lot to find playable ones and didn't quite get there. So that's gonna be it for this league. If you like content like this and you want to see some more, If you're watching this on YouTube currently, you can find the link to my Twitch channel in the description of the video that you are currently watching if you wanted to catch something like this live. And if you're currently watching on Twitch and you want to see videos that I have recorded and have already uploaded on my YouTube, you can find the link to my YouTube in my bio on my Twitch channel. So that'll be it for this league, and until then, see you for the next one.